All right, guys. If I could take a second, got a couple people on Zoom, so we could say hi to them. I'm going to get started just for the sake of time. Sorry for starting a little late, 6 minutes late. So we are going to go over today all about creating our own custom AI agent. So also we're sticking with ChatGPT for now. I don't want to dive into other AI platforms, so we're going to stick with chat. But this is transferable through other platforms as well. But what we're going to go over today, again, what we've done and what we've actually been doing moving forward, if you guys can now see, is we're going to be giving us a one-page infograph summary of everything that we go through. So you guys are going to be able to go here later on, full screen this, and it's a cool little one-page infograph of the stuff that we talk about. So why are we talking about today building our own custom GPT? So again, you're taking an AI bot and transforming it from your individual chat stuff that you can ask to how you run your business. Okay, so the way we run ours, if anybody has ever used it, ask.mortgages.com reroutes immediately to our custom AI agent. So if you guys notice in some of the stuff that we emailed to you, we were like, don't say everything that you want the AI agent to focus on. You want it to focus on one thing. So when we've built the ask.mortgages.com, it was specifically focused on answering guideline questions. So what's a down payment for an FHA loan? What's a down payment for a conventional loan? That's the bare basics. And then it gets really particular into how much do I have to put down if I have a non-occupying borrower? Or certain situations that loan officers may have questions, instead of them having to foolishly go on Google or having to ask a ChatGPT that might give them an answer from an ABC bank instead of our own individual bank. So I want you guys to think about that. If you're running Goosehead Insurance, and Goosehead might have a minimum, insurance coverage of, I don't know, say a $100,000 home, but maybe ABC Insurance Company only does $75,000. Right? And then if you push that consumer to chat, or that consumer finds it, they get that answer, you're, again, one, exposing yourself to that. Two, for those of us who are in real estate, we also know at the same time that chat has now integrated with Zillow too. So think about that, because now you're pushing them to the vultures just as much as what we always say for real estate agents or other professionals, where we don't want to just send them the listing through the Zillow link. You send them your MLS sheet, because now you're controlling that infrastructure, okay? Important stuff, again, the purpose of this is it's going to save us time, consistency, and support scale, right? And I could share about this, Amir. I know you use Ask on Mortgages a lot, right?
Yeah.
So when you have certain questions, instead of you having to go to your loan officer or go to one of the managers, you can go right there. I know Rob uses it every single day, right? Because I see the questions. And having that opportunity to have the answers in front of you. So if you guys put a lot of the different content together, we're going to literally build one out live. We're going to do one for Marco today based on some of the stuff that he's given me. So I hope you guys did too, because we're going to go through it again step by step, right? Reduces repetitive questions. So think about it. If you guys have sales staff or even your own clients, and they're asking you the same repeat questions over and over and over again, right? You can now push them to this stuff, because building out your own custom AI agent is only going to give the answers based on what you feed it. So very important for you guys to think about that stuff. Helping team obviously follow SOPs, processes, and all that stuff. Stuff that, again, we are going to build off of is, I want us, and I shared this already for us, but I made it a little bit more organized. So we're going to define one clear purpose. So what's the one job that you guys wanted to do? For me, I'm a firm believer in utilizing this from an operational perspective. Operations is how we truly leverage AI. Right? The sales side and the content side, I mean, there's no shortage of crap to talk about, but when we started leveraging the ops side, it's going to be critical, right? Then we're going to talk about choosing your audience. So who do you want this to be faced to? Do you want it to be client-faced, or do you want it to be your own individual purpose-faced? Because based off of that, you're going to put the specific information. Does that make sense? Write strong instructions. This is the part that is so critical, and I will share with you guys. I should be able to go incognito and go into mine without kicking Marco off. But I'll show you guys like our side of the instructions. It is like down to the penny of where do I want you to pull your interest rates? how do I want you to give the answers to the clients, and where do I want you to basically provide that information and how. Uploading the knowledge base, again, is so important. Adding the guardrails, test and refine, and we'll go through this again step by step. Must-have stuff. So if you guys haven't put together this stuff, right, the whole purpose of this is that we're cramming everything into like less than 45 minutes an hour, is to be able to take this stuff and be able to go back and rinse and repeat. And then what I did also is this is going to have a quick launch checklist. So figure out the name and the description, your conversation starters, your sensitive data, capabilities, what you want to talk about, and all that stuff. Okay? So anybody have any questions on that? So for those of you guys who may have missed some of the other sessions, the new website, so this is a new website. So theelevatoralliance.com will take you guys directly to the new customer-facing website or partner-facing website, right? If you guys go to resources, the resource tab, everything that I just shared with you guys in the drive is now faced directly where you're going to have access to it. You guys would simply log in. It take a little bit of time to load up, but you're going to be able to put your name, your email, and your phone number. I'm already logged in, but if you guys try to do it, try to log in right now, theelevatoralliance.com. It might, if it goes to your original housing link, it might be, you might have to clear your cache. But it will take you here. If you type in your name, your email, your phone number, it's going to email you your code. Grab that code and pop it in there. And then you're going to get access to all this stuff. Let me know when you guys are good. Good, good. So resources, and then you'll log in, okay? The way we've broken it down is we broke it down by years. So since some of you guys have been with me from the start, so from 2025, everything that we've gone over. So task elimination, growth and delegation, social exposure, all that stuff, right? So there's a lot. And then obviously 2026, what we have covered so far, and everything that we're talking about today. So everything that I just shared with you guys just now will all be simultaneously in here. This would be an example again of that infographic that we just shared with you guys as well. Okay? Everybody good? Cool. So I want to show you guys, we also started doing this, by the way, for all of the old ones too. So if you guys go back to all the prior ones, we started doing this, I'm going to open it up on my drive so it's easier. We started doing this for every past summary that we've had. So how many people think this is cool, right? With the setup and the step-by-step and stuff, and it's broken down everywhere. So if you missed any past classes or sessions, whatever you want to call this, it's done into why do we talk about this, what's the steps, what to focus on, the must, the 5, and every single thing is going to be different based off of that stuff, right? Because I know it's a lot that we throw, so you guys can have the opportunity to go back and get that info, okay? How many of us actually, I know most of you guys have texted me, but how many of us like that we connected our calendar with chat and all that fun stuff, right? If you missed it,
I couldn't do it.
What calendar do you use?
Outlook.
Outlook connects.
It wouldn't. It said I need to get admin access.
So you got to talk to Emily.
She said they might not let us connect it for security.
Who's they?
Like our IT people.
Oh, yeah.
Can you just change your email?
Yeah, well.
Separate a different email?
Yeah, so I can confidently tell you guys, you know, that I'm going to pause this. I'll tell you guys one thing, that what we do, I paused the recording. That's exactly what I do. So you guys know I have 2 emails, right? Yeah. Got Mortgages and PureMG. Yeah. The Got Mortgages email goes to my PureMG email. But I'm restricted in sharing certain things, which is why I always run everything consumer-facing Got Mortgages, right? Because I control the infrastructure. I am the admins. Now, the loan officers would have to have access to me, right? I can't go and have access to other stuff, right? So I'll continue sharing.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Yeah. So the importance of this, that might be a case, but we just did a connection for Gina, right? Where she couldn't do it when we were doing it in person because she uses Apple iCloud. So what we did was we basically connected iCloud to show up automatically on Google, right? Because she's got like personal stuff, family and stuff like that. So now whatever she puts on iCloud is going to show up automatically on Google. And now every single morning we set it up. Hopefully it's been working the last couple of days, where she gets emailed every single morning. I forgot what time we set it up. Hey, 6 a.m. Probably too early, but hey, this is what you're getting. This is the stuff that you have. You guys remember that, right? When we talked about that stuff, we went over, right? Let me download some. Oh, there you go. You know, you're gonna build it. You're gonna wire your calendar. Yeah, I turned it back on. Yeah. You're gonna put this, wire the calendar and all that stuff, and then at the same time organize it into a project. So we talked about that, right? So if we look at Marco, right, we know that Marco actually followed directions. Because if we go to calendar, right, we talked about make sure you guys create a project in ChatGPT for calendar. Does everybody have that?
I sure do. I got it figured out because I'm on private email or something like that. That's what the emails. It's a different email. It's not.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, so make sure, and remember guys, if you guys run into issues while we're doing this, tell me to stop, or as we always do, set up that one-to-one, right? So in that way we have the opportunity to truly set it all up, right? When you're automating your tasks, right? Again, this is what, like I say, when we're using a lot of this stuff, we're setting it up from an operational perspective. What I find a lot of people sometimes are using, you know, modern strategies, AI and technology more for sales, right? This is what again, I'm going to be biased. What the fuck do I know? But this is the differentiating factor between where we're seeing success in AI is we're not using it too much for sales. You're still getting us, right? Rob is still calling you. Amir is still calling you. You're still talking to us. Versus a lot of times people are trying to do that, which is like, you idiot. There's large companies out there that have massive amounts of money that are doing it to that fashion. Your average consumer doesn't want that, right? Your average consumer actually wants to talk to you more. So if you can automate your operational time with this stuff, you're going to have more time to speak to clients. And if you guys are what we've talked about, tracking how many minutes you're on the phone, how many text messages you're sending out, how many emails you're sending out. You could set up, if you guys have your emails, which most of you guys should, if you have your Gmail set up, you could set up every single day by 4:59, how many emails did I send and how many emails did I receive? If you really want to get particular into how deep you want to get into when it comes to this stuff. Okay? Anybody have any questions on that? We're good? I'm going to send what I actually shared to Trevor because I think it's important for you guys to see you may not see the huge vision of how important it is, but as your team gets bigger from a calendar perspective, it becomes really, really cool. I'm going to email this to myself. So while that's doing it, and then remember we talked about updating all of your name, your address, your phone number, and all that fun stuff, right? So we call it NAPWJ. So make sure your name, your address, your phone number, your website, and your job title matches everywhere. So if your name is Dan Latini, make sure everywhere online says Dan Latini, not Daniel Latini, not Daniel. I don't know if you have a middle initial, whatever. Everything needs to be consistent. If your address for work, consistent. Phone number, a lot of people, when we sit down with our partners, a lot of them sometimes have their cell phone number, then eventually they made the migration to a business number, but then it's mixed, or in many instances, sometimes you have both differently. It's part of the game, or one loads to another, totally works, but the problem is with that is that AI, even SEO, will hurt you for that stuff because now you have conflicting information. We talk about website, obviously, and job title is critical, right? So if you call yourself a founder, stick with founder. If you call yourself a sales rep, stick with sales rep. If you call yourself, for real estate agents, right? We talk about real estate agent, we talk about realtor, we talk about broker sales associate, we talk about broker. Whatever fancy title you want to give yourself, stick to it. And if it's not stuck to, make sure you literally audit yourself or set up a one-to-one with Trevor or myself, and we could be like, hey, realtor.com still has you as this, ABC website still has you as that, go back and edit it. It's the silliest thing, but you want to obviously do whatever you can to pinpoint everything to make sure you're coming up the highest you can be. Launch the content engine. I'm not getting into that. Blogs, Google Business, and all that stuff. Okay? Cool? Everybody got into the website? We're in. We've got the resources and all that stuff. Cool. So, it's easier for me to do it on my drive because that's where it's feeding off of. But you guys can see here, you're going to have what we're going to talk about today of how to actually build the custom GPT. And we've edited it all where it's literally step-by-step instructions. Okay, so if you guys go to build and setup, I will download this so it's easier to open. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, I want to show you guys the importance of connecting your calendar and how it becomes so powerful when you want to share this stuff with your team. Wow, you guys are actually logging in. Look at that. So, calendar. So check this out. Okay, so this was one that we ran for my personal business, right? With my calendar, with my stuff. What I always do is, we talked about it, I think, last year, or it might have actually been with you, Alyssa. I think we talked about it too, but what was your business last year versus what was your business this year, right? Most of us do it. How many of us usually track it by like volume or sales, right? I closed this much business and I made this much money, or I closed this much time and I made this much time. Probably all of us, right? Because you're like, last January I closed 5, 6. How many of us actually track how busy we were, like productive were? Events, calendar, stuff like that. Some of us who have like a service product base, maybe like a Dan, might be a little easier to be like, all right, well, I did 100 showings or 100 jobs and stuff like that. Probably real estate agents, you guys might not, right? Or maybe Mark, right? You go, you did an event, you did this, you did that. You're like, I think I was busy. Now, I always tell the team, were you busy or productive? There's two different things. So what we did, utilizing AI, was I told it, compare for me, what did I do in 2025 on, this is January to end of April. So January to end of April, what did I do? So it shared that we did 399 events. I guess I couldn't take that one fucking phone call, right? 399 events. Up to April, end of April, we had 620 events. So events is phone calls, meetings, consultations, which means that we had 55% more of activity this year than last year, personally. Last year, I closed 23 loans individually from January to April. This year, I've closed 42, which means that the business has jumped up another 83%. Net, I blocked it out, but also jumped up 80% year over year, right? And then what I love is net margins, which is how much am I keeping for myself after everything is done total, was 660 basis points, which means all of 42 transactions that I've closed myself, I've kept 660 basis points. And I could fucking take all that, but I'd be doing myself a disservice and my employees a disservice because then I have no money to run a business, right? And then what gets really fun too, and I'll give you guys a specific prompt if you guys want, is now map out what were the category types. And you'll see my client-facing stuff was about the same. 2025, I did 223. 2026, I did 253. There was only an increase of about 13%, which is a pretty good increase to be up 83% in units, but only have 13 touches, 13% more in touches, which means the systems are working, right? Touches. And then spending more time on building out tech stuff, 500% touch. So in the beginning of the year last year, AI was a thing, but it wasn't as it is now, right? And then all the other stuff, right? Partner meetings, partner development, podcasts, and everything like that. And then you start having fun with it. And by the way, this generates in like seconds, obviously, right? So you don't have to sit there and second guess yourself. And I didn't even generate this. Trevor and the team were able to put it together for us, right? Then it starts getting into how many touches did it take for me to get a closed deal? It used to take me about 10, 97. Now it takes me about 6. So 6 phone calls would lead me to a closed transaction, right? Net per business event. So for this, an event is 15 minutes. So 15 minutes cost me $261 last year. So if I met with you for, call it 15 minutes, you were supposed to pay me $261. Now, obviously, I'm closing more business, so it costs a lot more. So it's $303.
We owe you a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah. And then calendar density. So I used to have about 5 events a day. Then it's 7.2. So you guys see the importance of why you should connect your calendar? So much more than just, well, I already fucking know what I have going on. Yeah, I do. But if I went to you and asked you, what did you do in 2024? And what did you do in 2025? And what did you do in 2026? You're probably not going to know, right? So if I go to a realtor like Dennis or Gina and I say, hey, so you had your best year last year. You got top agent for the office. Congratulations. What the fuck did you do?
They don't know.
And then it's like, well, I did more listings and I had more appointments and I changed my marketing. And then it's like, okay, well, you also did more events and you joined the chamber and you did this and you did that. Compare that to 24, 25, 26. This is why I have been integrating a lot of this AI stuff. It becomes so much more powerful than just make me a video. Tell me what I want to talk about. I could talk for days on content and talking about that stuff. And if you don't know, you can obviously leverage AI for that stuff. Now, creating your custom GPT. So let's get started. If you guys want to turn around with your stuff, did you guys put a lot of the different content together?
Yeah.
PDFs, guides, all that stuff? Great. All right. So we're going to build one for Marco. So if you guys go here, you hit more, and you go to GPTs. Everybody got it now? Yeah. Yep. Cool. So on the top corner right, you guys see create. We're going to hit that create button. And this is where the fun begins. So now you guys see configure. Now we're going to start plugging away. So name, whatever you guys want to call yours. So we're going to call, Marco, what do you want to call it? Ask Reyes or Ask Reyes Royalty?
Ask Jeeves.
So you're doing different ones for like your internal assistant and then versus like if he's connecting to his website for questions. Like
It all depends on however you guys want. I don't think there's a cap on how many you could do,
Okay.
right?
Were there different entities?
Us personally, I use ours more. Like, oh, I was going to show you guys. Let me do this. Could be a pain in the ass, but I'll do it this way.
It's nothing good.
I will show you guys an example of ours. Fuck is my password?
So should I do it while you're doing it? Because we're in the same account or no? Probably not.
You should be. I mean, no, I wouldn't do it at the same time. I'm just going to show them mine. I mean, unless you want to do yours, and I could just.
It's easier for you to show them
Yeah.
how to do it.
All right, so check it out, guys. So I'll show you guys an example of ours, and then we can take it from there. So we've built out just 2, right? I've built out the Ask Got Mortgages, which is again operational questions. What's my monthly payment? You know, can you walk me through the mortgage process? Should I buy a home? Does it make sense to refinance? But the biggest part of where we push the Ask Got Mortgages is for my loan officers, and I'm going to show you guys on the back end on the Knowledge Center the reason why, right? And then the Elevate Alliance is obviously for you guys. Every time we go through everything we have put together, you guys have the opportunity. If you go to the website, theelevatealliance.com, and if you guys go there and you just literally hit Elevated Alliance AI, it's going to route you to the ChatGPT. Right? Now, this is the part that is critical. When you go, after you've built one, by the way, and you hit Explore GPTs, you go My GPTs, and yours is going to come up, the ones that you've built. Cool? Now, when you hit the edit button, I'm going to show you guys an example of how detailed you want your instructions to be. So for our example, it's your personal guide to home ownership and building generational wealth. Now, this is the instruction I give it. You are, Ask Got Mortgages, the official education assistant of PRMG Got Mortgages. Your mission is to educate clients, partners, and homeowners about mortgages, refinancing, leveraging equity, yada, 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 right? Speak in a team-focused, approachable, professional tone. So it's not Abdel, right? It's the team that this is being embodied about. Be confident and knowledgeable while staying relatable. Use simple explanations. Have to know my audience, right? Real-life examples and motivational encouragement. This is the part that is so important if you guys are using it from an operational perspective, and I think you should do it every single time. If it's a guideline or a specific product question, only use what is uploaded in the Knowledge Center. So if my loan officers say, hey, what's the minimum down payment on a bank statement loan? I don't need some random bank in fucking Kansas to do 5%. I need my loan officers to only reference our products. Do not use outside assumptions or general industry overlays unless they're supported by the uploaded files. If a guideline isn't clearly addressed in the uploaded documents, let the user know instead of guessing and to check with the Got Mortgages team. So if they ask a question and it can't find the answer, it will let them know, please refer back to your loan officer. And it continues on. When someone asks for your monthly payment, always include, right, we guys know, PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So only include principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, and try and be as clear as concise with it. For interest rate estimates only, this is where I tell it, only get interest rates from Mortgage News Daily. So Mortgage News Daily is a very popular, reputable source where it usually doesn't be biased like, frankly, a Wells Fargo or another platform that is going to be pushing a lower rate. So Mortgage News Daily, do not reference any other ones. Now be simple with it and be sure to reference another part. The interest rate is just an estimate and is subject to change based on, you guys heard me say this all the time, 4 C's, right? Your credit score, your capital, how much you're putting down, your collateral, what are you buying, and your capacity or debt to income. So if you have a 700 credit score and you have a 610 credit score, your rate's going to be different, buddy. Now it gets even deeper. Educate users step by step on the mortgage process. Use the Got Mortgages University, which you guys know, gotmortgagesuniversity.com, takes them to all of my stuff in the Knowledge Center. Post it, position it as, again, the Got Mortgages team as the guide, while reminding clients that a personalized review from the team comes directly. Never provide legal or tax advice, focus on mortgages, cover FHA, VA, all this stuff. It was stuff I wanted to prioritize. So when I give it to it, step by step, pull it from my Google Drive. Always encourage clients to reach out directly to Abdel's team for personalized scenarios. Never provide legal or tax advice. Always end the responses with, for personalized guidance, connect with the Got Mortgages team, my office line, and gotmortgages@prmg.net. Update the custom GPT by to the Got Mortgages team. So it's super, super detailed. I don't expect us to fill out all the instructions now because it's going to be something that's a work in progress. But I want you guys to think of it that way when you guys are editing this stuff. Okay? Now, for conversation starters, these conversation starters that you guys see over here are going to be little blocks that come up when a client comes up like you guys saw, right? So you see these blocks here? Help me calculate a mortgage payment. Can you walk me through the process? Should I buy? So think about what are the most common FAQs that this custom AI agent is built for. If it's for clients, right? How early should I do pest control? That should maybe be your first question. What's the, when should I list my house? What should I start with buying promotional material, right? What's the difference between a condo and a townhome for insurances? Things like that. Have that be your top 4 questions, and those would be where you guys would put your conversation starters. Cool? Now the Knowledge Center, this is the most critical part. This is basically the school for the AI agent. This is where you upload everything. And you guys will see here the stuff that I have uploaded for my team is about the home loan process, how to understand the mortgage payment, and how to navigate the process. Pretty simple, straightforward. Now, a lot of the other shit is PRMG HUD handbook, which is the actual handbook on guidelines. Fannie Mae guidelines, so conventional loans. Additional Fannie Mae selling guidelines. So this is PRMG side, and then Fannie Mae selling guide. It's like 4,000 pages. Common mortgage questions that clients ask and are answered. We do a lot of non-QM, so which is like non-traditional mortgages. So I need to be able to ask that, and that's where a lot of the loan officers generally don't have experience in. So being able to have those right there, non-QM DSCR, AUS, non-QM, close second, and close seconds. Cool. You can also, this is the part that I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure, but I've tried, I've connected it, is you can also upload files for Code Interpreter, and you guys, what you'll notice here, these are like zips. So if you have like a Google Drive of a bunch of information in there, what I started doing is zipping it and uploading it in here. I do not know 100% if it actually reads all of it, to be honest. Because what I've always seen and read is it's always based on the Knowledge Center. Another part to know about the Knowledge Center too is I believe it caps you at 20 PDFs. So I know you guys, because I have like a billion alongside the team, so you really got to concise what it is that you want this AI agent to learn, right? And then additional stuff, right? The different drives and stuff like that. Recommended model, just leave it. So you guys know there's like 5.1, 5.2, 4.7, like the different versions of AI, like version 1, version 2, 4.3. You can basically pick and choose which one you want, right?
What's the difference? Like what?
There's new updates that are constantly coming out. There's some that answer your questions within seconds, some that take longer, right? Like the new 5.5 that just came out like a week ago, you basically no longer need to use Claude because they've updated everything. And they've now made, if anybody has used the new image recently, like within the last week or so, it's like really freaking cool.
Yeah.
Like the those custom single worksheets that the team is creating that I just shared with you guys earlier, it's done through chat. Yeah, it's done through the new chat platform.
So I keep hearing that everyone is saying that Claude is better than GPT now, but now you're saying that you don't need Claude?
I'll be honest, me, I use both.
It's probably like
Right?
this. Yeah.
Well, that's the hard part, and that's why I don't want to bring up Claude to us, because you know, OpenAI is OpenAI. They're the biggest one out there, right? One of the biggest reasons why it did, and I won't get political, but there were some political ties to it, where it was like, fuck OpenAI, they're supporting ABC, and then people were like, yeah, let's not do them, and everybody revolted, and then they're like, yeah, guys, but we also have money more than God. So what you start doing, but again, word to the wise is stick with one platform, right? I don't think any of us here are looking to like code stuff and build games and stuff like that, right? So yeah, so I mean, listen, I've used, it's true. I mean, we have really fun with it too after a while, like building out the websites and doing this and doing that, but you don't have to do that stuff, right? We also have to remember what we actually do, right? We do mortgages or construction or fucking pest control. And that's the part that we start seeing a lot of our, whether it's loan officers or other people. I'm like, yo, remember, you're a fucking loan officer. You should be picking up the phone, smiling and dialing, right? Not necessarily trying to make pictures and guides and PDFs and stuff like that, right? So, but it's, your pictures sometimes are like questionable. I'm like, is that real? And you like zoom in and I'm like,
I don't even know that's my system.
Yeah.
I don't even know that they go up.
but it's, you know, I constantly turn around, and again, the purpose of tracking stuff is like, you made like 10 phone calls, bro. And that's why you have no closings for the month, right? So it gets very easy to get pulled into it. Trust me, I have to like fight myself all the time. But I would stick, again, personally with chat, right? Just my words of the way. I think it's the most user-friendly side too. Andrew, you probably use both. Do you use both,
No,
Drew?
I've always just used
Chat, yeah. So chat, I think is more than enough for what you
I've
need.
been seeing a lot of ads for Perplexity.
Yeah, there's always ups and downs. They'll go through their waves. So going back here, guys. So again, so now let's go and create macros, right? So we're gonna go ask Rhea's royalty, right? The top here is where you guys can change the picture. Marco, I probably have a picture of your logo, but I'm just gonna download it anyway.
There it is, right there. Boom.
You know, I never realized you put one on the sign.
What?
On the door outside, the sign outside.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! My shit's everywhere.
I parked right next to right next to the sign today, and then I'm like, Is that Marco's stinger?
I'm gonna give a fat stack to Rob. He's gonna go to the city and subway. Right, Rob?
Yep. I'm waiting on
So, all right. So now you go. So you put your logo, then you put your name, right? Then description. What would you say this would be customer facing? So let's say you're custom assistant for all your home remodeling needs. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
We could start out with that.
Perfect. Whatever they want.
Cool. Now again, the instructions part, guys, this is where it's so critical. So if you guys go back to the Elevated Alliance and you guys go through some of the checklists and testings that are in here, I literally put like what you guys should cover, what's the purpose, who to use it, how it's internal, and how to actually do it, right? Again, the instructions should be concise. Like you saw, I said, hey, this is what I want you to do. This is where I want you to get the information, and don't put the, did you see the funny, I think commercial where the dude is like, I want to get in shape, and then it's like some ripped dude next to him, and then it was Claude ripping on chat because it's like an awkward like, great, that's a good suggestion. You should visit some random website in order to buy a pre-workout. And he goes, wait, what? I'm trying to get in shape. I understand. Here is another website. So again, keeping the answers. So when you're putting those instructions, keeping it short, telling it also to keep the answers as concise as possible, right? And all that fun stuff. Explaining what it's for, explaining what not to do. And then here's an example. So use this ChatGPT as a first place to organize, process, draft communications, create checklists, answer common questions. So do not use it for confidential information. So we could literally just copy and paste that and put it into his thing, right? And then there's a little checklist. So if you guys wanted to print this out, you can. And then we also did the strategy. So here's what we talked about on the knowledge base. So as you guys are pulling the knowledges, right, focus on those repeated questions. The questions, again, that you think clients are asking you all the time, right, should be the focus, right? Focus on your company voice. So again, for us, it's straightforward, to the point, but make sure you reference the Got Mortgages team, right, where it's consumer facing and at the same time focus on that. Focus on the SOPs and workflows. So like the ones that we showed you, all of the things that are in here are all guidelines and workflow questions and PowerPoints that I wanted to concentrate on. Focus on the customer journey, so on and so forth, and then focus on boundaries and what you want to talk about. Then again, recommended knowledge categories, so stuff you guys should put in there. Company overview, products, FAQs, SOPs, sales process, onboarding, customer service, training, and all that fun stuff. Okay? And I would do it in the order of, again, your FAQs should be first, then your onboarding, then your follow-ups, then your training, then your brand, your operations, and SOPs. Okay, so we'll go back to Marco's. Click, where's he at? Here. So Marco gave me all of his stuff before. So now I'll go here, and I will take everything that he has given me. And I will upload it to the Knowledge Center. Cool. Leave always the recommended model. Again, in my recommendations, no recommended models. Conversation starters. Marco, what do you got?
How much will this project cost?
Yeah. How much does an average bathroom renovation cost?
Timelines is another one.
Do I need permits?
Permits is another one.
Permits?
Good thing for
Good
Vermont.
question.
These are literally questions she just asked me.
Yeah. We just had this conversation.
What else you got?
It's on the list. I gave you a list.
How long does it take to, I don't know, perform a bathroom remodel? So you guys get it, right? Now you will see, let's hit create. Anyone with the link, save.
Which means that they don't have to have a paid version of this to access their portal.
They do not need to have a paid version.
Oh, that's great.
So now when you go here, boom. Now here is Marco's custom AI agent,
Wow.
right?
Can I get an estimate on some?
Yeah, right now. I'll send you the link.
How much for a timing chain?
Right. So now you guys have that. So now if you want to go back to it, let's say you're like, all
I
right,
can edit it, right?
yeah, fucker, hold on. So now you guys want to go back to this stuff, right? Because there's a lot of work to do, right? Again, you can either click here, or you can go, the right way to do it is explore GPTs. Go to my GPTs, and it's right here, and hit the edit button. Cool. And then remember, you can use chat to tell you, hey, I'm building out a custom GPT consumer facing. Can you give me super detailed instructions on how I should put the instructions in here?
That's what I just did.
And then copy paste it. So let's do that for Marco. Let me go back to chat, new chat. I'm going to upload.
Do you know if these GPTs we're building have like a max out? Like, you know how some of the chats in ChatGPT say you reach the end of your chat, you need to restart a new one?
So the Knowledge Center caps you at 20. But in terms of like asking questions and stuff like that, no.
Okay.
And if it does, we haven't reached it yet, frankly. But so now we're going to go, I am building out a custom GPT that is going to be client facing, right? Where clients can ask questions. I want you to give me a detailed instruction for me to input while I am customizing the GPT to enter into it. Make sure to always reference that for accurate information to reach out to the Reyes Royalty team at, what's your phone number, Marco?
Business?
Yeah.
609?
Yep.
900?
Yep.
3499.
Or info at Reyes Royalty, right?
Info@ReyesRoyalty.com, yeah.
Reyes Royalty.
Those automatically become linkable?
When you put it in there, yes. So like if we go to my Ask on Mortgages, I don't know what to say. Here, what's my payment on a $300,000? Dennis, give me one of your listings.
101 Joyce Court,
What's it listed for?
449.9.
For offer of
We just went live today, by the way.
Four-
Take a look.
what's my payment on 101 Joyce Court? In, where is it? What town?
Brick.
In Brick, New Jersey, for offer of $450,000 based on a 5% down conventional. So this is a client, right? What I've done too a lot of the times is I'll tell my realtors, obviously call me, but if you want a real quick answer in front of the client while you're there, literally just type in. And a lot of times you even have to put 101 Joyce. You could just drop the Zillow listing, right? So now, boom. So based on this, a $450,000 house, 5% down, 427, an interest rate of 6.3, which pulled it from where? Mortgage News Daily. So let's click on Mortgage News Daily, and the rates are going to vary. This probably just got open, but you'll get the point, right? Now you continue on, and it says it based on what? The four C's. Why did it say that? Because I put it on the instructions. Principal and interest, property taxes, homeowners insurance. So now the real estate agent can now go and tell their consumer their monthly payment is going to be $3,856, including the HOA fee. Right? And that's the hard part. A lot of clients tend to just go and they look at it like, oh, my payment's $3,460. Well, you forgot the HOA, bro. And then they get the HOA and they're like, ah, fuck. And it's even more confusing on in my world, a loan estimate and a closing disclosure, because you get the breakdown. It's actually like, I'm not going to pull it up because it's the client's name. But we have one right now where I call the client. I'm like, hey, your CD just went out. Make sure you guys sign. Just a reminder, you're going to notice your escrow in the middle portion says one number. And then if you look right under where it says estimated escrow, because it's right there, obviously,
Yeah.
there's two parts. You're going to notice that's a little higher. Let's subtract it real quick. 800 minus 500 is what? 300. How much is the HOA fee? 300. So make sure when you make your mortgage payment, because technically you make your mortgage payment once to the bank, and then depending on how the HOA collects it, whether it's within escrow or through there. So, but again, how easy is that?
That's great.
Right? Rather than Gina or Dennis having to come and saying, hey, or Virginia, can you give me the monthly payment? Well, I can, obviously. But this is also going to be completely consumer face and explain it. But again, then it goes here for personalized guidance, connect with the Got Mortgages team, and then if they click that to your question, it will hyperlink and it should open up my email. And then now it's going to email me.
Because it does take them away from the home website. So someone went on his website and put in the chat, it brings them off of his website to then go back.
Yeah, so now they could email gotmortgages@pmg.net.
I'm about to have a fit over here. I got a question.
What's up?
Is it possible, I'm trying to download the entire FDCPA. If I download the entire FDCPA in a little like thing, I can load that into here, or does it have to go to like?
Yeah, download it as a PDF.
Like 20 pages, like a limit to whatever.
I just said I uploaded one that was 4,000.
No shit.
Yeah, with the HUD handbook. Probably not 4,000. It might be like 400 pages. But it's called the HUD 4000. 4001. But so check it out. So here's Marco's direct custom GPT. So your official AI assistant for Reyes Royalty, family-owned and operated home improvement company. Your role is to assist homeowners, yada, 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 and answering questions, explaining guides. Communication style should be clear. Here's information about my company, because we told it, right? What are the core services? What's the most important rule? Always encourage the client contact the team directly, because I told it to. For most accurate information, pricing, scheduling, or product details, please contact the Reyes Royalty team directly at this. Now, a client can't be like, oh, Marco, you told me it was 10,000. Yeah, well, I actually told you, fucker, that you need to contact us for more accurate pricing. We get that question all the time when a client asks about a rate, right? And I'm like, well, you did, but you also have a 610 credit score and you're putting 3% down. Discuss pricing, timelines, availability. Never fail to provide this when discuss pricing. So if a client asks about timeline, availability, permits, structural codes, scheduling, contracts, it might give the recommendation based on what Marco gave me, but it's going to go and say for more accurate information. Brand voice, sound polished but human. Avoid robotic responses, avoid sounding pushy, salesy, so on and so forth. Client experience, what you should help with. So Marco, I'll just copy and paste, but you could go back and do it. General remodeling, renovation process, service explanation, basic renovation education, and so on and so forth. What you must never do, invent pricing. It's a big one, right? Don't tell me 20 grand, it's a fucking $300,000 job. Guess project timelines and so on and so forth. Pricing and estimate rule. When asked about pricing, explain that cost depends on scope of work, material, existing, stuff like that. So it's a great thing to be able to give you a starting point, right? If now your admin goes and uses it for social media, I don't recommend that you do, but again, for now, I'm just going to copy and paste it. I don't know if there's a character limit, right? Does that make sense? To cap, but yeah, so we'll go back here. So now we're going to go back and edit it. So we're going to go to My GPTs, Ask Reyes Royalty. We're going to go here. We're going to drop it. Boom. Looks like it took all of it. Wait for it to update. Update. Done. Right? I definitely suggest that you guys don't make multiple. Like you notice I only have two. I have the one for you guys for Elevate Alliance, and I have the other one for Ascot Mortgage. Because then it becomes way too confusing. Right? So now copy link. Now if you guys really want to like really start pushing it and stuff like that, buy yourself a domain like we did, ascotmortgages.com. It's, if you find the right words, if you buy one, it's $11. Right? It's usually like $1 if you buy it for whatever time frame. But yeah, so what's up?
I already have a website. Can I put it down at the corner?
100%. Yeah, so like we'll do that for you, like on your site, and then we can just so like if we go to reyesroyalty.com, you could just add a tab for AI assistant like I did for Elevate Alliance, right? I didn't buy a domain. You know, he can add, you know, with before and after about financing schedule, you could put AI assistant in a tab, or you can add it as a button or book an estimate or whatever the case may be. We got to redo your website, like the one we did with GR.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Cool.
And what was the recommended model? Oh, sorry.
Keep it open. No recommended model. Let
With
them
the
pick and
custom
choose.
GPT, does it pull information from external sources, or does it only pull information from?
It will pull from external if you tell it not. You have to tell it, do not pull the information from external sources. Yeah.
Other than that one mortgage, like, interest website?
Because I told it to go there. Yeah. Or else it would go to like Bankrate or Wells Fargo or ABC company, and their rates are always going to include a point, or they're based on like 20% down, and then now I have to sit there and explain everything to them. So, do you have a question?
Yep.
We're good? Cool. Anybody on Zoom? Do you guys have any questions?
I do. What's in the resources? Is the prompt there to kind of help us out with the instructions?
Yeah, so what I would do is go to just like a regular new chat, right? And then ask it like we did for Marco. And ask it, give it like the knowledge center that you want to put together, right? And then ask it, hey, I'm building out a custom GPT that's going to be either client-facing, team-facing, training-facing, whatever it is, where clients can ask questions. I want you to give me detailed instructions for me to input while I'm customizing my GPT to enter it. Make sure, again, to always reference, you know, the vision group or whatever it is at phone number or email, right? And then it will give it to you. Take it, copy it, and then you can obviously edit it and remove it how you deem fit. And you'll notice why, because it took some of the stuff that Marco gave me, like the knowledge intake. So the stuff that Marco probably made on AI, took it and then was able to customize it, add it, and all that stuff. And it's referencing the stuff that he gave us from those guardrails of what we want to focus on and what we want to avoid. So, cool.
Yes, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? You guys are good? Cool?
I have a question for you.
Yes. What's up?
Would I be able to use this to do both real estate and mortgages?
Yeah, you definitely can. I mean, I think in that world, I would probably separate the two, because, you know, real estate agents might be more about, I don't know, bedrooms, bathrooms, locations, maybe CO issues, maybe things like that in your world. And then I think the mortgage side should be, again, more probably financial related, capital gains, things like that, and taking it from there.
Okay, thank you.
Cool?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So I am going to stop recording.
Recording stopped.
And we'll send over a recap like we always do. We'll drop the housing link with the recap. Has that been helpful too? One thing also I'll share. So remember all the different summaries. So again, you access it. But if you guys go to the website, again, the Elevate Alliance, if you hit this button, the dashboard, it's going to take you to what we created before that housing link where everything is organized. So it's one page. So if you miss it, so you'll see, let it load. So again, the one page Elevated Alliance, it will take you here. And what I'm doing is every single time we have a recent session, I'm basically loading it up. So the one that we did 2 weeks ago, the AI basics, it's going to be another custom page with all the different links, recapping it. And then I'm also putting the Zoom of me speaking while we're doing it. And then also putting the live professional content that Sean is usually shooting for us as well. Cool. So now you guys have the opportunity again to go back in there. The team is also putting an AI summary of everything too. So again, take advantage of this stuff, guys. There's a lot that we use on, as you can see, on a day-to-day basis that is going to help you guys that much more to be more efficient while you continue growing your business. Cool. Thanks, guys.